Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Table Talk. I'm your host, Jake Combs, and tonight we are going to be diving into the Arena of Shades. Now, as of today, when the video is released, this will be available for pre-order, and then we also have one other video coming out about the same time today as well, if you haven't seen that one. In that one, we unbox the new avatar of Cain as well, so it's only fitting that we have a Age of Sigmar box featuring the Daughters of Cain as well. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, as far as the story for this particular release is concerned, basically for those that have actually read the Broken Realms books, specifically the one about for Morthi or Morthi. So she ends up taking over Anvilgard in the realm of Akshi, I believe. And while she's done that, part of the process is she's essentially given, or she got help from the Ideneth Deepkin, and in order to pay them off, delivered them a bunch of souls. And because of that, Nagash is not very happy because, as we all know, Nagash, being the god of the undead, or the god of the dead rather, feels that all souls belong to him and they were not hers to barter. So, because of that, we have the scripter Mortis leading an army of spirits to try to reclaim some of those souls and take their revenge for what they've done. Now, in the box set, a majority of the models, there's 44 models total, a majority of them are re-releases put together for this box set, like specifically like the Sisters of Slaughter, the Heartrenders, and the Doomfire Warlocks. Now, that being said, the new chain Wrasse that have the crossbows, and I think some of them might even have bows as well. Those ones are going to be the first, I believe it's battle line unit that has range for the Night Haunt. So let's go ahead and open this up and take a look. So we have a lot of sprues right off the bat. So this one, this looks like it's more or less to the Banshees. I've never actually seen the Banshee models before, so they look pretty cool. And then here, let's see, this looks like another Banshee, possibly two of them. So not sure exactly how many Banshees come in here. I thought I only saw 3 on the box, so let's see if I can... Nope, there are definitely 4, so I didn't notice that before. And then we have, let's see if I can separate this without breaking anything. There we go, good. All right, so we have this one, which looks like some of our standard chain rasps, the ones specifically with swords. And then this one is our new model for, can't remember his name all of a sudden. Let's see if I can turn this up enough without dumping everything. So that is the scripter Mortis. Now, it is a really cool looking model. Very interested to see more as far as his lore is concerned. I'm hoping we see him show up in some of the books sometime soon. Now, I love how they did the book that he's holding for this specifically, because like one of the arms is actually holding a page like that he's turning in it, as well as like the book just has a lot of dimension to it. Like normally for a piece like this, like the book would just be one solid piece, and the fact that we have 3 main pieces making up the book definitely is going to give it a lot more dimension for sure. And then this one that slid out looks like it is some more of our chain rasps. And so the ones that are like chain rasps that have been around for a long time, we're not going to dive too deep into those ones. In fact, I'm actually going to just take them out of the way so we don't look over them. And that way we focus on just the new models for you guys. Let's see. So right here we have some of the Daughters of Cain. These are some of the... Man, I need to learn a lot more of these models' names and units. So this one is the Sisters of Slaughter. So we have, looks like 2 sprues of that. And let's see, let's rotate this. All right, so both sprues are exactly the same, including a 2 banners total. Then this one right here, we have our new special unit. I don't believe it's a named character. The High Gladiatorix, I believe is how it's pronounced. Definitely a very cool model. She does have 2 alternate heads. One's a mask, and then one is just her face. Personally, I prefer the look of the mask better. I think it's much more intimidating. But a very cool model. I love that the whip itself is barbed. I mean, like something like this model alone would make for a great kit bash for like a like an Escher model for sure. But that's one thing I like about the Daughters of Cain is pretty much any of those models will work as part of a kit bash for an Escher, because they have very similar styles and wardrobe and such. And then, so right here we have the new chain Wrasse units, with the crossbows. Let's see, I'm just taking a quick look at it. Okay, so it is all just crossbows, no actual bows. Now, like with the armor that they're holding, the chainmail, a lot of detail there. And I really like how a lot of the robes are layered on top of each other to give a lot more dimension to these ghosts. And then the fact that they also have a banner that they take with them as well. Definitely a really cool aesthetic. Now, I think this is kind of funny, and we'll zoom on this in a little bit. This one shoulder, or part of the back of one of the chain rasps, to me, the cloth itself, the way it's shaped, looks very much like a skull with the chainmail visible underneath. So I'm just curious if we have anything that kind of matches that style that's consistent, but no, it looks like that's just kind of more random with that one. But to me, it really does look like a skull. And then we have the mounted models for the Daughters of Cain. I definitely don't remember what they're called, but these are really cool looking models. Now, the one thing I don't really like about the Daughters of Cain aesthetic mostly is that like typically when most people paint them, they always paint them with white hair. I don't know if there's a reason for the white hair in the lore that I just am not aware of. Previously I've never owned a Daughters of Cain battle tome, so haven't had a chance to really read up on them, and I was not able to read up on the Morathi Broken Realms book, and so I don't know if there's a lot of lore there that I'm not aware of. But I do know that like back when they were dark elves, before end times happened, even like the witch elves that they had, they were still white hair and everything. So I'm guessing that's just a consistency that's carried over, but maybe there's not any lore on it. If you guys know why they all have white hair traditionally, I would love to know. Please let us know, and we might even send something your way for telling everybody. especially if whatever you share, I can definitely prove is the case. But so just something to keep in mind. You know, if you have that knowledge, please share it with us, because I am very interested to know. But I know that when I go to paint these, even if it is something, you know, lore specific that kind of denotes why they have that white hair, I know personally I'm not going to paint white hair. You know, I do a lot more brunette and black hair for most of my models. I just think that in miniature form that tends to look better, have a lot more variation just because of all the different colors of you know, variations between black and gray and browns, with, you know, some like red highlights and stuff. So a lot more versatility there, but that's just a personal preference. Now this last one is the winged models. Again, I don't know what they're called, but they are some of my favorite units. And I know that a few weeks ago we did have the Daughters of Cain Warcry release, and talking to my local game shop, one of the gentlemen there, and for those that live in the Valley, that's Games U that I go to, and some of the most knowledgeable employees that I've ever met across any of the shops. And while I was there, like, he gave me, the gentleman gave me a lot of really great tips for painting marble, and the piece that I'm working on came out really nice with the marbling, which we're gonna actually do a video on that project so far, coming soon. But while I was there, he and I were talking about that more Daughters of Cain release for Warcry, and that apparently that release is so well designed for new players that you could take that box, add in Wrasse, and you have pretty much a 2,000 point army done, and you know, something like only $200 to do it. So pretty good bargain doing it that way. We do have the Daughters of Cain Warcry box. Now, obviously, for that, the only thing we're missing is Wrasse, but I do hope to get her one day, because she is by far one of my favorite models from Age of Sigmar. And then, so going in a little bit deeper, we also have our transfer sheet, and it's actually listed as Dark Elves transfer sheet, which tells me that not a lot, at least as far as the iconography is concerned, has changed since the old world. And then we have a 45-page condensed core rulebook with this. And then we go into the sealed envelope. All right, so we have our War Scrolls. So Doomfire Warlocks. So those are the ones that are on horseback. The Heart Renders are the ones that have wings. Sisters of Slaughter are the bulk of your troops, and then the High Gladiatrix. And then again, out of all of these, the only new model is the High Gladiatrix. Then for the undead, we have the Scriptor Mortis, which is new. We have the Mirmorn Banshees, the Craven Throne Guard, which is the new units, the Bladegeist Revenants, Chainghasts, and then the Spirit Torment. Actually didn't realize that was him in there. Like, now that I'm seeing it, I can see where that came in, and I really like that model once it comes together. I've seen some amazing paint jobs, and really looking forward to actually being able to paint him as well. All right, so here's the scripter Mortis. So like as I was saying, you know, we have the page that he's turning, the actual book itself, and then the cover of the book. Let's go ahead and turn it over. Take a little bit more look at the detail. Now with the ghost, there's not an insane amount of detail, just because, you know, they're more spectral than anything else. But like with the new Craven Throne Guard, they definitely have a lot more detail than I feel like we're used to seeing with the Night Haunt for their standard units. Just a ton of detail there. And so this is the one, where is it? Right here. So that's the one I thought kind of looks like a skull, kind of like more like an orcish skull more than anything else. Turn that over. So the other side basically had almost all of the detail that you're really going to see, but a little bit more on this side as well. And then especially with that banner. And then here are the War Scrolls. And then we have our Arena of Shades book. So this is where we're going to get all of the lore behind this fight itself. Some background on the Daughters of Cain, some background on the Night Haunt. And then we have like our realm rules, some narrative play. We have a couple battle plans that are exclusive to this book. And then we have our army and unit rules as well. So that way you don't have to actually have the War Scrolls. It just makes it easier because you can always refer back to the book. I definitely like that it feels very sturdy. The cover is a much thicker kind of cardboard than we typically get for some of these rule books. Definitely feels like a much higher quality than usual. Now for here, instead of having like the clear rulers that we normally have, these are actually themed rulers based on the two armies. One is Night Haunt themed, where you can actually see the scripter Mortis, and then one is Daughters of Cain, and looks like the gladiatrix, plus a bunch of objective markers and other markers as well to easier to denote effects on the battlefield. And then lastly, we have our assembly guide, which, so we can see that with the riders, that there are some variations in the how you pose them. And as always, we have our multi-tone assembly guide, which makes assembling by the instructions much easier, because you can see exactly where the piece goes and how it connects. And then for the Craven Throne Guard, we do have a couple variations in there, like the one that carries the banner. You can actually change it to just carry a normal crossbow by itself. So that way, if you end up getting like two of these boxes, you only have to have, you know, like the one banner instead of two across both those boxes. So it does give you some room to vary them. Same with the Craven Hunt Master. There's two variations where you can make him the Hunt Master, or you can make him a guard. For the Sisters of Slaughter, we have basically the same kind of thing between a Handmaiden and a Sister of Slaughter. Now the Handmaiden, the helmet is much more menacing. Also got like a long tongue coming out of it. And then we have the Musician and a standard Sister of Slaughter that you can choose between. And then with the standard bearer, you can also make just a normal standard Sister of Slaughter. And then the Heart Renders, we have, looks like a couple different heads. One is the Shrike, and then the Heart Render. And then with our Doomfire Warlocks, we do have a couple different options for weapons. One looks like more of a spear, one is more of a sword. So the spear one, that's for the Master of Warlocks, and then the swords are for the Doomfire Warlocks. So those are the only variations that are in here, but I also love that they always show you a painted version of the models as well. So that way you can, if you want to, follow suit, you have a easy painting reference to look at. So definitely some really cool stuff in here. Definitely looking forward to actually getting this team built and played with. Giving me that excuse to break open the Warcry box as well for the Daughters of Cain, so that way I can get a proper force on the table for them without having to actually get Wrasse. But in the end, I do really want to get her because she is an amazing looking model, and definitely going to be the centerpiece of any army for sure. But that's all we got for tonight. Thank you all as always for watching. Now again, I do remind you that at the time this video is released, that these items will be available for pre-order, and that this box was actually provided ahead of time by Games Workshop for the purpose of this video. So I hope you guys enjoy, and thank you as always for watching, and I will catch you all next week. Good night.